Hello, good morning, my dear students. This is again your Virat Kumar, lecturer in Electrical and Electronics Engineering from the Institute of Government Polytechnic, Vaddepalli, with the semester of 4. And the subject is AC machines with a code of 18E403C. And the topic is three-phase transformers. In that, we have a subtopic of transformer accessories. We have a subtopic of transformer accessories. Let us see a small recap of previous class. So in the previous class, we have discussed about method of cooling, specification of cooling, ISI code for cooling system, tap changing, offload tap changing, and onload tap changing. So these are the things which we have seen in the previous class, and I hope you all have gone through all those slides which I have shared in the YouTube regarding methods of cooling, specifications of cooling, ISI codes for cooling system, tap changing during offload and onload, and all those things. If not, you can see again the video which I have just shared in the YouTube. Now we'll continue this session. So moving on to the next slide for the today's topic. The objectives are, on completion of this period, you will be able to know about the transformer tank, the location and function of conservator, the location and function of breather, the location and function of explosion vent, and the location and function of oil level indicator. So these are some main features of a transformer which we have to know about these things, like transformer tank, the location and function of conservator, where actually the conservator should be located and what is the function of it, and similarly breather, what does it do, the function of it, and the location where it has to be connected, and explosion vent, function of it and location, and the oil level indicator. So these, not only these, there are so many classes, so many parts in the transformer actually, but these are some main parts. Without these, the transformer could not be complete. So we'll see about these things. The diagram is actually a transformer over here, but due to some technical issue, it is blank for us now. That may be viewed in the next slides, so no need to worry. So we'll move on to the each part from transformer tank to the end. So firstly, we'll see transformer tank. The transformer tanks are made from rolled steel plates and which are fabricated to form the container. Small tanks are welded from steel plates, while large tanks are assembled from boiler plates. For small transformers having cooling tubes in the vertical sides, but for large transformers require separate banks of cooling tubes. So a transformer tank is generally made from the rolled steel plates. It's nothing but the iron or rolled steel iron. Steel is used in order to avoid the corrosion of the material, and these rolled steel plates which are fabricated to form the container, since it has to be formed like a container so as to dump or immerse the transformer in it. And if it is a small tanks which are welded from steel plates, taking multiple steel plates and can be welded and formed a container for small tanks, and whereas for large tanks are assembled from boiler plates. Large tanks are assembled from boiler plates. And for small transformers having cooling tubes, the cooling tubes works as radiators in order to uh, cool down the heat generated in the transformer, and also in order to circulate the oil from high heat temperature to cold temperature. So for small transformers have cooling tubes in the vertical sides, but whereas for large transformers these require separate banks of cooling tubes. Since it is a large transformer, it produces huge heat, so within the tank itself may not be sufficient to cool down the heat. So for the large transformers we require a separate bank of cooling tubes. So you can see a transformer over here with a tank. These are bushings, nothing but simply we can call it as terminals, primary terminals and secondary terminals like input and output. And technically these are called bushings, not terminals. Since there are large terminals, so it is called bushings. So we have LV bushings and HV bushings on either sides, like primary and secondary or input and output. And this is a tank. You can see this is a substation where the input coming to the transformer and output is going from the transformer. You can see clearly over here. Moving on to the next slide. What are actually bushings? The bushings provide proper insulation between live conductor and earthed tank. The bushings are, in previous slide we have seen the bushings with some insulators connected to it, and there is a live wire connected to the bushings, and also the bushings are connected to the tank of the transformer. So the bushings provide proper insulation between live conductor and earthed tank. The tank is earthed, we just install it on the earth, mount it on the earth. So there should not be any contact from the live wire to the tank of the transformer, so that it is earthed, so it may get short circuited or circulation of currents in it. So in order to avoid that, we just use insulating materials that are called bushings. So the bushings provide proper insulation between live conductor and earthed tank. The bushings are made up of, since it is an insulating material, so the bushings are made up of porcelain cylinder which will have more dielectric strength. Generally all the insulators which are made by porcelain material, actually maybe of different material also, like ceramic, glass, fiber and etc. Mostly the porcelain material is generally used. Moving on to the next slide. Here you can show the bushings for the large transformer. Since we have three phases, so for all the three phases we have three bushings. So this will be the primary bushing, and we can see the other side, on either side also there are bushings, that may be secondary, or if it is connected to the load, that is called secondary, and if it is connected to the supply, then it is called primary. So here we are just seeing only bushings, so where from the supply and where it is going is not clearly shown in this. So for simplification, what is primary and secondary is that if it is connected to the supply, then it is primary, and if it is connected to the load, then it is secondary. And if the voltage is high, then it is called HV, and if the voltage is less, then it is called LV. So these are bushings. You can see these bushings are used to isolate the live conductor to this transformer is mounted on earth, so it is in contact with the earth. So these bushings provide insulation between the live conductor to the earthed transformer. For all, each and every phase R, Y and B. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Conservator. What is actually a conservator? What is and where it is installed and what is the function of it? We'll just see it. The transformer oil should not be permitted to come into contact with the open atmosphere. The oil which is dumped in the transformer tank or something, that should not be permitted to come into contact with the open atmosphere. That means it should not be exposed to the open atmosphere. It should be in a closed compact. So the absorption of even a minute amount of moisture causes a great deterioration in its insulation property. What he's saying, that if it is exposed or absorption of even just for a minute, also the huge amount of moisture causes a great deterioration in its insulating property. So in the atmosphere we have a lot of moisture content. When this moisture gets inhaled or to the oil, this oil causes a great deterioration and it loses its insulating property. It also causes acidity and sludging of the oil. That means simply the oil gets polluted. The oil purpose is to provide insulation and as well as for cooling. So the moisture has water content. The water has a conductivity property. So simply the water gets mixed in the transformer oil and got impure. So it causes acidity and sludging of the oil. And to prevent this, the transformers are provided with conservators or oil expansion chambers. So there are some issues. So in order to prevent all those issues, we use a conservators or oil expansion chambers. So this is the main purpose of a conservator, where to avoid the problem of exposing the transfer oil to the atmosphere. Moving on to the next slide, continuation of conservator, and they are working at high voltages and designed for outdoor operation. So these conservators, they are working at high voltages. That means for power transformers, not for smaller. The conservator is no need of any conservator tanks for the smaller transformers like distribution and all those things. So they are working at high voltages and designed for outdoor option. You may be seeing that outdoor substations and indoor substations. So these conservators has a huge type of structure. So it is used for outdoor operation. The conservator consists of a metal drum fixed above the level of the top of the tank. Here he is saying the location of the conservator, that the conservator consists of a metal drum type of structure which is fixed above the level of the top of the tank. Above the level of the top of the tank. That means the oil in the transformer level and the conservator level, if we just compare both these things, the conservator level should be more than the oil level in the tank or the top of the tank. So simply the conservator consists of a metal drum and it is fixed above the level of the top of the tank. And connected with it by a pipe, the joints being rendered air and oil tight. So this through the conservator and to the tank, there is a connection which is made within by a pipe. The joints being rendered air and oil tight. So the joint from tank to the conservator through a pipe is rendered air and oil tight, so as to not allowing any moisture content from the atmosphere to the transformer tank. Moving on to the next slide. Actually, there is a transformer structure over here with all the conservator, breather, tank and cooling tubes, but it's not clearly visible over here and it is very blank. We'll just see it in the next slide. Yeah, here you can see here. This is the transformer with a tank type of structure. This part, and inside this we have a core, windings, all those things related to primary and secondary. And you can see this is a conservator tank which is like cylindrical type structure. As we have learned that this is connected on top level of the tank, above the top level of the tank. So you can see clearly the construction which is above the top level of the tank, and you can see there are bushings over here. And in previous case we have clearly seen that for a small transformers, the tank within itself have some tube type of structures on either sides for cooling that are called cooling tubes. But whereas for a large transformer, a special bank type of structure for cooling system is required. So you can see here, this is entire part is called cooling tubes or radiator, simply a radiator, which is separate bank which is used for cooling of the oil. You can see over here also there is another bank of cooling tubes which are connected on either sides. And as we have learned in the previous class that cooling systems, dry cooling and wet cooling, Dry cooling is done by air and wet cooling is done by oil, and in that case we have seen so many types in it, like forced oil, forced air, natural oil, natural air, the combination of all these things. So this is a practical transformer which is snapped in a substation. It is very clear that there are primary and secondary. You can see the bushings also over here. See, bushings are made by some insulating medium with porcelain material, which are used to avoid the direct contact live wire to the earth transformer, since the transformer is mounted on the earth. Moving on to the next slide, the continuation of conservator. So the main tank is then completely filled with oil. Even when cold, the oil also partially filled the conservator also. The surface of the oil exposed to the atmosphere is therefore greatly reduced. The convection currents in the main tank do not penetrate to the conservator. Any sludge that is formed remains in the conservator tank only. So it is very clear that the main tank is then completely filled first with the oil, that is transformer oil, which is called mineral oil. Even when it is cold also, for the first time we need to fill it, and the oil also partially filled in the conservator tank. The surface of the oil exposed to the atmosphere is therefore greatly reduced. So the transfer tank has a complete closure, and the surface of the oil exposed to the atmosphere is therefore greatly reduced. So thereby the convection currents in the main tank do not penetrate into the conservator. So, and if any sludge that is formed will remain in the conservator tank only, that may not enter into the transformer's tank, where actually the process is going on, like step down or step up of the voltages. Okay, moving on to the next slide. In the continuation of conservator, that the oil expands as it heats up. So the conservator is full of oil, the air being expelled. So when the transformer cools down again, the oil level sinks and air is drawn in. So this action is known as breathing. So you can know that breathe in and breathe out. We human beings do it actually, called breathing. in and out, we can see that the oil expands during heats. During heating, any material will be expanded, thereby the conservator is full of oil that we, in the initial state, we won't fill the conservator's tank, we'll partially fill it, and during heat it expands and completely fills up the oil in the conservator, and the air being expelled, that is the left out part has some air filled in it, which is expelled out to the atmosphere. And when the transformer again cools down, the oil level sinks, that means it contrasts, and thereby oil decreases and air is drawn in. So this action is known as breathing. Move on to the next slide, and here you can see the conservator tank connected on the top level of the transformer tank. Where you can see the level of oil in it. And this is a transformer tank, and these are cooling tubes are called radiators on either sides. Okay, moving on to the next slide is about breather. Now previously we have seen the contraction and expansion of the oil, so that process is called breathing. So during that, the air enters into the conservator tank, thereby moisture also enters and forms sludge on the transformer oil. So by that process, that the indrawn air being passed through an auxiliary piece of apparatus which is called as breather. So the air which is drawn from the atmosphere, that is called indrawn air, that is being passed through an auxiliary piece that are called actually silica gel, which is contained in an apparatus like a glass tube, like cylindrical structure. So the indrawn air being passed through an auxiliary piece of apparatus which is called as a breather. So actually it is used for absorbing the moisture. So as we have said that moisture, when it is indrawing the air from the atmosphere, it also absorbs the moisture. So in order to prevent that, we just use a breather with some auxiliary pieces which are called silica gel, and it used for absorb the moisture. The breather consists of small vessel containing silica gel. As I said you, the breather consists of small vessel and containing silica gel as drying agent. That means it just absorbs the moisture within it and keeps the drying agent. The air is passed through silica gel and the moisture being absorbed in its passage. This ensures that only dry air is in contact with the transformer oil. So I hope you have got this point about the breather, that the indrawn air being passed through an auxiliary piece of apparatus is called a breather, and it is used for absorbing the moisture. And a breather consists of small vessel containing silica gel as drying agent. This silica gel you may be seeing in the parcels when we get some parcels, in order to keep it fresh and dry. Sometimes they'll be using some silica gel packets in the parcel. You may be observed that it just absorbs moisture and keeps the things dry. So the breather consists of small vessel containing silica gel as a drying agent, and the air is passed through silica gel, the moisture being absorbed in its passage. So this ensures that only dry air is in contact with the transformer oil. Moving on to the next slide of explosion vent. Many of the large transformers are provided with a funnel attached to the lid of the tank to act as an explosion vent. So mainly for large transformers, many of the large transformers are provided with a funnel attached to the lid of the tank, transformer tank, to act as an explosion vent, just like a silencer to the bike or car or something else. Just like that, it's an explosion vent. An accidental short circuit inside the transformer may result in arcing, obviously, so with the consequent formation of a large volume of gas. So this is generated very rapidly and might set up sufficient pressure to blow the liquid of the tank if some form of safety valve were not provided. The explosion vent is not open to the atmosphere but has a thin diaphragm across its base. So this is about an explosion vent. So many of the large transformers are provided with a funnel attached to the lid of the tank to act as an explosion vent. An accidental short circuit inside the transformer may result in arcing with the consequent formation of the large volume of gas. This is generated very rapidly and might set up sufficient pressure to blow the liquid off the tank if some form of safety valve were not provided. That means if there is no explosion vent, then so these kind of short circuits are generated very rapidly and might set up sufficient pressure to blow the lid of the tank. The explosion vent is not open to the atmosphere but has a thin diaphragm across its base, and if it is again so exposed to the atmosphere, again moisture gets in and the transfer oil gets polluted and forms sludges and all those things. So this is not directly open to the atmosphere but has a thin diaphragm across its base. So this thin diaphragm acts to prevent the moisture content into the tank, transformer tank. In continuation of explosion, when the diaphragm being made of bakelite or other suitable material, so in the event of the rapid generation of considerable volume of gas, the diaphragm is burst and the gas is permitted to escape. Unfortunately, the explosion is usually sufficiently violent to eject a certain amount of oil with the gas. The upper end of the vent pipe is bent and turned in such a direction that the ejected oil will be relatively harmless. So here you can see that diaphragm being made with a bakelite or other suitable material, and in the event of the rapid generation of considerable volume of gas, if it is continuous, then the diaphragm is burst and the gas is permitted to escape. So unfortunately, the explosion is usually sufficiently violent to eject a certain amount of oil with the gas. So there is a chance of ejecting a certain amount of oil with the gas also. So the upper end of the vent pipe is slightly bent, remember L-shaped, and turned in such a direction that the ejected oil will be relatively harmless. Then the oil may not be ejected. Okay, moving on. We will see now the next topic of oil level indicator. The most obvious indicator of transformer temperature is the temperature of the hot oil. It is measured by a dial type thermometer, and it is desirable to use an indicator which will show the actual temperature at hot spot in the winding. So winding temperature indicator is a thermometer with a bulb, and the reading of the thermometer is an analog indication of winding. So the oil level indicator is also an important piece in the transformer. So the most obvious indicator of the transformer temperature is the temperature of the hot oil. The hot oil temperature will be indicated, and it is measured by a dial type thermometer. Generally, to measure heat we use thermometers. So this is a dial type thermometer, and it is desirable to use an indicator which will show the actual temperature at hot spot in the winding. So it is desired to use that type of an indicator. And winding temperature indicator is a thermometer with a bulb. So this, the winding also gets heated, and the winding temperature indicator is a thermometer with a bulb included in it. Now, the reading of the thermometer is an analog indication of winding temperature. It's not a digital meter or digital indication, it is an analog indication of winding temperature. So here you can see this is the transformer tank. See here you can see this is the transformer tank. This is the transformer with the core, and these are the windings. LV is placed near to the core and HV is placed over the LV. So these are the windings, and in order to, these windings are concentrated coils, so and are fixed by clamps. Now these are bushings. The bigger one is for HV bushing and this is for LV bushing. And here you can see the unit cooler, which is nothing but a cooling tubes or a radiator whereby the oil circulates through it. See, you can see here the oil circulated from the cooler to the tank and to the cooler to the tank. And there are fans fixed. These are called forced draft fans, and there is an oil pump. And this is oil forced and air forced cooling system. OF, AF, oil forced and air also forced, since there are fans connected over here. And in between that there is a oil flow indicator. This is the main thing which we are seeing in the previous slide. This is an oil flow indicator or oil level indicator. Moving on to the next slide. It's end of the session, so we'll see a small summary. What we have discussed about is a transformer tank, location and function of conservator, location and function of breather, location and function of explosion vent, location and function of oil level indicator. Let us see a small quiz involved in this. A transformer accessory which is used to take up expansion and contraction of the oil which changes in temperature, allowing oil to come into contact with air is. The transformer accessory which is used to take up expansion and contraction of the oil, that is conservator. Expansion with the changes in temperature allowing oil to come into contact with air is conservator. You can see here conservator, that is the conservator. Second question, with silica gel is, when silica gel is saturated with moisture, then the color of silica gel crystals become. Actually, the original color of these crystals are blue in color, and when it gets saturated with moisture, it becomes into pale yellow. Actual color is in pink, actually pink or bluish in color, and when it is saturated, it turns into pale yellow. We'll see it. See here, yellow. We'll call it as pale yellow. We'll go to the next quiz. The function of breather in a transformer is to provide cooling to the winding? No. To absorb moisture from the air? Obviously yes. To provide insulation to the winding? No. All of these. So actually the answer is B, to absorb moisture from the air. In the sheet. C, to absorb moisture from the air. That's it for the quiz, and there are some frequently asked questions in this session that explain the function of breather in a transformer, explain the function of conservator tank, state the location and explain the function of explosion vent, and list out the accessories of transformer with a neat figure. That's it for this session. So thank you one and all. Have a nice day.